Welcome to the NASCAR Report. We have all your latest wrestling and sports news. We have contests. We have the Dumbass Award. We have Smoking with Shady. We have it all. So without further ado, let me introduce you to the gang of the NASCAR Report. First, the host with the most, the cigarette smoking son of a gun, who won't back down from a challenge, Jen. Our next co-host, the man, the Packer fan, BG Money. Our next co-host, the man, the myth, the legend, Rob Swagger. Our next co-host, the man that would do anything for a Klondike bar, and I know this, I have proof of it, Mad Dog Justin Hicks. And last, but certainly not least, the man behind the smoke, Shady. Now let's get the show on the road.
Hey, what's going on, guys? What's going on,
ladies and gentlemen? Yes.
You are entering the Skull Report. Not entering, but you're listening to.
Yeah. If you got kids up, put them to sleep because it might get a little bit down nitty gritty and dirty tonight.
Yeah. Now, of course, being that normally there's one seat missing from the Skull Report tonight, and that is Jen, the creator of this report. She's unfortunately she's in the hospital. She's recovering, but she's still in a stable condition. If anybody out there can give us a current condition on Jen that knows that she's in the hospital, please feel free to comment and let us know. This is we all praying for her. We love her. We want her to get better. We want her to recover. We want her back on this show because we miss her so much. So, and we also know from the last time we spoke that our words is helping out in her recovery. So she may be still in an induced coma, but she can hear us, and hearing us makes it better, make it better for her to recover. So, I mean, we all here, not only in the Skull Report, but in SWA, but in THW, but in GWF, everywhere that MWF, everywhere that Jen's been, every group that Jen's been in, and every friend that we know that knows Jen, we all wishing her the best of health and the speediest of recoveries.
Most definitely.
So, I mean, anybody that want to comment on the show, all you gotta do is do this one thing here. Before leaving a comment, please grant StreamYard permission to see your name at StreamYard.com/Facebook. Because as much as we want to hear your comment, we want to read your comment, we don't want to see no blank face, no blank screen, no the profile picture being that blank person. We would love
Facebook user. Yeah, Facebook user.
Yes.
Facebook users, just please follow them guidelines.
You don't want to be Facebook user all your life. So basically, how's everybody doing tonight?
Nice Sunday. Good day for football for some, bad day for others.
Yeah, definitely. Good day for some, bad days for others. But we're gonna get into some NFL a little bit later. But we're gonna take that slight turn around the track and try to get to that checker flag right now. So, Ralph.
All right. I always like for that to be. I would like for that to be a little bit longer.
Yeah.
But we will discuss that at a later date. I mean, I even have a different song to use
about
too.
5 seconds,
Yeah.
I mean, I kind of like when you
seconds.
I kind of like when you use the one from But I forgot. I think it was NASCAR Thunder 2005 Chase for the Cup. I kind of want to use that theme song a little bit, but hey, we know, like I say, always room for improvement. That's what these race cars
One
does.
thing at a
That's what the
time.
drivers do. So I mean, I do have a since we didn't come on last week, got a long list right here. So let me just go on and get started with this. Now we're gonna go going. We're going back. We're going in Formula One, which has been kind of crazy the last couple of weeks here. Let's start at the Dutch Grand Prix. Max Verstappen, he got the pole position and basically he dictated the race. He dominated the race. And in winning the race, he got back into the championship points lead over Lewis Hamilton by 3.5 points. It could have been more, but Lewis Hamilton ended up with the fastest lap of the race. And in which the next race would be in the Italian Grand Prix in Monza, which was today. But we'll get to that. We'll get that to that later. Now, in the silly season, this is I'm gonna try to be as straight with it as possible. Alfa Romeo driver Kimi Räikkönen, he confirmed that he's going to retire at the end of the year. He's been around. He's been around since 2001. He started racing for the Sauber team in 2001. He also raced for McLaren, Ferrari, Lotus, and he also did rally racing. And a couple of years he did race in NASCAR. So you know, they he raced it and it probably wasn't to his liking, so he decided to come back. He won 21 races. He won a world championship for Ferrari in 2007, and he has the record of starting more races than anybody in Formula One history. I mean, currently is at 341. It could be more, but he missed the last few races due to having COVID. So as soon as he has COVID, I think Robert Kubica is yeah, he's raced him in the driver's seat at Alfa Romeo, but when he to come back, he'll get back in the seat. Now with him retiring for Alfa Romeo, it was an
It's a lot
opening.
of time behind the wheel of a car. I
Yeah,
hate to interrupt you. You know what I mean? But 20 years, all that. I mean, that's a lot of driving to do.
yeah,
A lot of race.
yeah. I mean 20. I mean he got 20 years not only racing in Formula One circuits around the world, but he also was in rally car, which means all sorts of dirt tracks. He was in NASCAR, so I mean he raced in all different types of tracks. So I mean that's a lot. I mean we talk about that, that's a lot. Um, but basically with him retiring from Alfa Romeo had a seat open. Valtteri Bottas is now signed with Alfa Romeo for 2022. Right now, he's racing on the Mercedes team on the Petronas Mercedes team with Lewis Hamilton. Well, Lewis, with that seat being open now, the Mercedes Petronas team they replaced Bottas with George Russell, who is racing for the Williams team. Now the Williams team has an open seat, and former Red Bull driver Alex Albon he hasn't raced this year. He's like kind of like I ain't gonna say he's a reserve driver because he did race with Red Bull in 2019. He didn't race at all with Red Bull in 2020. He didn't race. No, he did race in 2020. It wasn't good for Red Bull, and then yeah, he became a reserve driver, but now next year he'll be racing for the Williams team in 2022. So it's all kinds of crazy in Formula One. Uh, well, we'll get back to Formula One right later. Now we're gonna be heavy on NASCAR in the middle section here. Um, in the Arca Menard Series, Landon Lewis captured the pole and he won the Southern Illinois 100, presented by Lucas Oil. And the next Arca Menard Series race will be the Bush's Beans 200 in Bristol on September 16th. Now for the actual the NASCAR series for Darlington and Richmond, I squeezed both of them together. In the Camping World Truck Series, uh, Sheldon Creed won the In It to Win It 200, and the next race this is the first race in there, and I think this is the first race in their playoff series. And the next race is going to be the Uno or UNOH University of Northern Ohio 200 presented by Ohio Logistics in Bristol on Thursday, uh, September 16th. Now the Xfinity Series they also raced at Darlington. and Noah Gregson won the Sport Clips Haircuts VFW Help a Hero 200. And this was his first win of the season because he was struggling up and down all the season. I mean, he even got in a couple of fights with some drivers. But his first race is his first win of the year, and he also got a playoff berth. Um, and then he also raced in Richmond yesterday, and he won the Gold Bowling 200. So he's firmly in into a playoff berth with basically one race to go Xfinity. Now Dale Earnhardt Jr. raced yesterday too, but he finished 14th. He was doing good, and then he stayed on track with he didn't change tires to the last pit stop, and then he had a speeding penalty, so that messed him up. Now the next race for Xfinity will be the Food City 300 on September 17th, which will be the Xfinity regular season finale. And for the NASCAR Cup Series, uh, the Cookout Southern 500. That's the first race of their playoff. Denny Hamlin won, so he advanced to the round of 12. And yet last night at the Federated Auto Parts 400, Martin Truex Jr. won. He advanced to the round of 12, and Kyle Larson advanced to the round of 12 too, based on his finishes and his success. And Chase Elliott's crew chief, Alan Gustafson, celebrated his 600th start as a crew chief. So that's great for him. Off the field, Noah Gregson had resigned with Junior Motorsports for the 2022 season prior to winning the race in the Darlington. So that's because he didn't know if he was going to be, or he didn't know what team he was going to be on next year. But now he signed with Junior Motorsports. In fact, Junior Motorsports is going to fill about, I think, 5 teams for next year. So the 2022 Xfinity Series going to have at least every race going to have 5 cars from Junior Motorsports. And I'm going to end it in the NASCAR session with Kyle Busch. Everybody knows about Kyle Busch. That he's a talented driver, it's a polarizing driver, but he can get hot-headed, and he can get himself in situations to where he may end up getting kicked out of the league. I mean, I have said, but there have been several occasions in which he could have got kicked out of the league, kicked out of NASCAR. And in this one, he got fined $50,000 for violating sections 12.18, 12.5.2.5a, and 12.88 of the NASCAR rule book. Basically, he got in a wreck on lap 125. And he was taking the car back to the hauler. His day was done. They couldn't fix it, but he was going too fast, and he ran over several orange cones. He wasn't supposed to go in this section, but he just said, "Hell with it." He just ran through there, drove through there at a considerable speed that in the vicinity of spectators, to where they could have got hit, and they weren't paying attention. They could have got knocked down or knocked over, ran over by his car.
I'm sure he was paying.
Say that again.
Surely he was paying attention, though.
Yeah, he was paying attention, but he was pissed off. I mean, they did it. They did an interview after he got the car, and he was doing some. He was using some racy language, so to where they couldn't bleep it out in time. But they didn't fine him for that. They fined him for being basic conduct detrimental to being a driver, NASCAR driver. So that's one thing about it.
There's definitely a lot more rules in there than there used to be.
Yeah, I mean he's a talented driver. I mean he's the all-time leader in wins in the Truck Series and in Xfinity, to where I don't think he's gonna race Xfinity anymore. But if he does, if he keeps up with these actions, eventually, because I mean, one year he got frustrated and basically got behind a truck, a Ron Hornaday, and ran him into the wall. Basically, ran him into the wall to where they were ready. NASCAR were ready to kick him out then. They were ready to kick him out then, but they didn't. So, I mean, I know his brother was like that, Kurt, but he done mellowed out a little bit. But Kyle is just, I think he just, I think NASCAR don't want to kick him out, but he's gonna be one major incident away from getting kicked out of NASCAR. And when that happens, it's gonna take a while for him to come back. So,
Right.
but,
I mean,
but
he's
let me
one of
look
those
at
big
you.
names, that bring decent money to NASCAR.
Yeah,
So
yeah, that's true. I mean, it's okay for to have to wear the black hat in NASCAR, but but after a while, you gotta
yeah,
do something different. But like I said, let me
after
finish
a
up.
while, you got to pass the torch to the next guy.
Yeah, yeah, basically. So we're gonna go to IndyCar. I almost forgot about IndyCar because they got 3 races left, and I was like, okay, let me just check on them today. But they did have a race today, which was the Grand Prix of Portland, and the pole winner and the actual race winner was Alex Palou, and he leads Pato Award. They say Pato Award, but his real name is Patricio Award by 25 points with the Firestone Grand Prix of Monterey on September 18th, and the final race of the year, the Acura Grand Prix of Long Beach on September 20th. That's like October. I mean September 26th remaining in the season. So he got a nice point lead. So as long as he don't do anything crazy, he should win the championship. Now we're gonna go back to Formula One for this last bit because this was a crazy one today. Daniel Ricciardo, he wins. He races for McLaren. Walker Family Entertainment. What's up, guys?
Hey, Walker. How's it going?
What's going on? Yeah. Daniel Ricciardo, he wins. He wins. He races for McLaren, and he finally he won a race driving a McLaren, which is McLaren's first win in almost 9 years. Him and his teammate Lando Norris finished 1-2, which is a first 1-2 finish since the 2010 Canadian Grand Prix. That's right. If you don't notice, if you don't know now, we have a hashtag going on. Hashtag fight Jim fight. Because we all rooting and praying for us. So just all you gotta do is pick. You can copy it, paste it anywhere you go. Now, if anybody wondering, now most of the time now we talking about Formula One. I know we talking about Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen. What happened to him? Well, Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen crashed on lap 26. Basically, what happened, Lewis Hamilton was coming in to the pits, came into the pits, came out, and he came out in front of Verstappen. Verstappen was trying to pass him and going into the turn, and basically neither one gave up. Neither one backed off, and you see the race footage. Verstappen car launched in the air, came down on Hamilton and took them both out the race. A similar incident happened earlier in the race. So Hamilton backed off and he had to cut through the chicane through the curb. Uh, but this time neither one backed off, and unfortunately that took them both out. And that is, I mean, that's how they do it in Formula One, and it's crazy at times because sometimes I have stated that your worst enemy can be your teammate, but in this case, it's Red Bull versus not Toyota, Red Bull versus Mercedes. So, uh, but basically, that's basically the two things that happened. Lando Norris could have won. He could have won the race, but he didn't want to do the. He did not want to do the same. He didn't want to have an issue going on between him and Ricardo. Plus, they told him to back off a little bit. So that's how that went for right now. Now Lewis Hamilton, he's quoted saying, "Thank God for the halo," because when they're driving, they have a halo in front of their car to keep things from hitting their head, like a tire or something like that, or rocks or something. So, and the head with the way the car landed, it did land on his halo just a little bit to where the halo wasn't on there. It could have had some really serious head and neck issues. Uh, Chief Director for Mercedes Petronas Mercedes told the Wolf quoted saying, "In football, they call it a tactical foul." Basically meaning he probably not Ricardo, but Verstappen did it on purpose to keep his points lead because both cars out the race. So uh, both cars out the race, no one can gain any points. And now Max Verstappen, his side is Hamilton ran me off the road. Well, in any event, the stewards, the race officials, they handed a three-place grid penalty to Verstappen for the next race, which is the Russian Grand Prix on the September 26th. Basically, wherever Max Verstappen qualifies, he got to start three places down. So, like, if he get the pole position, he got to start fourth. He qualifies second, he got to start fifth. If he qualified 10th, he got to start 13th. So that's basically how it is. That's how they do how they go by that penalty for that. I don't know if Mercedes is gonna try to get a more severe penalty, appeal to the stewards to try to get a more severe penalty for Verstappen, like Red Bull tried to do for Hamilton after the British Grand Prix. But the bottom line is, when it comes to Formula One, this is a tight ass fight for the championship, and you know Red Bull seem to be doing better than Mercedes, but Mercedes is not letting up on that top spot just yet, not without a fight, and it's gonna come down to the wire. Cause they I think they separated by 3 points with 9 races to go, and it would be 11 races, but 2 of them got canceled. So you got 9 races to go, including the race here in Austin at Circuit of the Americas. So with that being said, I'm Ralph Savage, and this is the Skull Report Racing Review. Back to you, BG and Shady.
All right, all right. Thank you for that updated NASCAR report. It sounds like it's a thriller for NASCAR right now.
Well,
Let's get into a little bit of football. Before we get into football, NASCAR has its ups and downs with drivers, and you know, everybody wants to go through the checkered flag and get the win at the end of the day. It seems like NASCAR is coming down to the last little bit of its end for the year, right?
yeah, they in the playoffs. They have like basically 8 races to go, and the next race will be the from the play cutoff race for the first round, to where four drivers going to be eliminated. So and then they'll become the round of 12 for the next 3 races. So um, in the Formula One, they have 9 races left, and like I said, that's the dog fight right there between Red Bull and Mercedes. I mean, just you know, a lot of money getting thrown at these cars and these drivers, and to where they have to perform. If they don't perform, they have to go. It's like getting a seat in Formula One is harder than any racing series out there in the world.
Mm-hmm.
IndyCar is they having a nice, you know, they having a nice season themselves. I mean, the only big thing about IndyCar this year was Jimmy Johnson racing for him. But even then, Jimmy Johnson, he just does road courses, and he's okay. He's mid pack, but he's not really doing nothing. Um, and NASCAR, I mean, it's NASCAR is NASCAR. They gonna have their stuff. They gonna have their silly season. They gonna have everything. And in fact, if you can queue up the our illustrious dumbass award, DG, please.
Yes, I can. I am looking. Here we go.
This moment just makes you want to say, Dumbass!
I am giving my dumbass award to Kyle Busch because of his actions for what he did in Darlington. Understandable. Yes, you're in a wreck. You're upset, and you can drive the car back to the garage, but drive it back at a pace to where, if you're not supposed to go in this section, okay, just go around, or maybe see if someone can move those cones so you can drive through. Don't just
Well,
drive all crazy and stuff. Like what? Like I said, what if you to hit somebody? Clip
I mean,
someone?
it must be nice to just throw away $50,000. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. Yeah, he can sit there and throw the $50,000 away, but that's $50,000 and go toward his wife Samantha. That's $50,000 to go toward your son Brexton. But to sit there and do that, come on, man. You got to think better than that. You got to think better than that. I mean, that's why I sit there and said what I said. I mean, he could have been out of racing a long time ago. I mean, he has not been liked. I feel like this. He hasn't been liked by not only myself but my son since for like 13 years because of him purposely turning Dale Earnhardt Jr. at Richmond in the spring of 2008. I mean, he's a talented driver. I give him that. I mean, when he has the best equipment, he's unstoppable. But when he don't have the best equipment, he's always whining, he's always crying, he's always complaining. I mean, Dale Jr. started Junior Motorsports. He does good with Junior Motorsports. And then his cars are competitive. Kyle Busch does have Kyle Busch Motorsports, but only in the Camping World Truck Series. He tried it in the Xfinity. It didn't work out too well. So the next year, he did 1 year with Kyle Busch Motorsports. After that, he ain't do it no more. He still raced in I did say Busch. I'm sorry, Xfinity. Um, he does race in the Xfinity races, but he only races for Joe Gibbs Racing, the team that he raced for in the NASCAR Cup Series. And you know, I mean, at least we know Dale Jr. can win in his own equipment. We don't know Kyle Busch can win in his own equipment in trucks, yeah, but in the Xfinity series, no, we don't know that because that never happened. The one time they did get a win, his brother Kirk got it. So, but as far as what he did in Darlington, you Kyle Busch, you are a dumbass, courtesy of
Dumbass.
So
Okay, guys. Before we get into the NFL, let's give the fans that are tuning in an update on our lovely Jen and our Fight Jen Fight hashtag we got going at the bottom of the screen here.
right there you go.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're just now tuning in and you missed a little bit of NASCAR at the beginning of the show. Our beloved host Jen is in the hospital right now with some issues. She's in a seduced coma, and just keep the hashtag going. Keep her in your prayers, and she's gonna come out strong. She's a fighter.
Just
Yes,
everybody
Guys
know
like that.
yeah, just everybody know that your positive energy, is felt. You know, I've always said that, just saying words out into space, you're doing something. Those words are out there. It may take them a millennium to find their way, but they are getting there. And like we said earlier, she wasn't doing that great. We all jumped on and started praying together and started talking and everything, and she started getting better. So just knowing that, just everybody keep up the good fight and keep up your good thoughts. So.
all right. Well,
All
I
right.
think I think we got a lot of football to talk about now.
Just a little.
Yeah.
Fans are going wild. Ticket sales are flying in fast. We are on the turf, and we are ready for some football. NFL is officially started strong. Let's talk about that Thursday night game against Dallas and Tampa Bay. That that was an all-out game right there for Thursday night. They
Tom
fell
Brady at his
short by a
finest.
field goal. The seven-time Super Bowl champ had the team pull it off with a 3-point field goal. Dax come out there. Elliott came out there. The whole Dallas Cowboys come out there with a strong outing. They look like a whole different team with Prescott back. They they look
It was
really
a better
strong.
game than the Super Bowl.
It, exactly. Them two teams, both teams, nothing but gladiators were out
Yeah,
there on that field Thursday night.
yeah, they all wanted it for sure.
Yeah, I
Oh,
mean it was a great effort by both teams, but someone had to lose.
and
Always,
unfortunately,
unfortunately.
Dallas fell short. But you can't win them all. It's first game of the season. You still got 16 more games to go.
Yeah, I mean it just with Mike with McCarthy, they got to do better on the run game.
Mm.
You only have Zeke. Zeke only ran 11 times, like 33 yards, and even then it was less than that. He just happened to get a 13-yard gain on one carry. So, I mean, Dak was great, but if Dak continues to keep throwing like he's throwing, yeah, he'll be throwing for 5,000 yards. But hell, his arm, talking about his ankle down there popping off, his arm gonna fall off.
His arm's gonna be. He's gonna throw so many yards. His arm is gonna be not there anymore to be playing. It's just gonna be one of them type deals where we're gonna have to put a bionic arm on him just for him to keep playing.
And that's so basically the Cowboys they still got a lot. They got a long way to go. Uh, they're they're one of three. Of course they in the garbage ass NFC East, in which not only did they lose, but the Giants lost today, and what the fuck? I mean, Washington football team lost today. Lost today as well. The only team that won
Mm.
was those dreaded Philadelphia Eagles, and they put a whooping on the Atlanta Falcons.
And with all the hurricanes hitting Mississippi and Louisiana, the Saints game had been moved to Florida, and it was Packers versus the Saints. And unfortunately, my Packers fell dramatically on their face because why would you put the rookie quarterback out there for the first
Uh,
game of the season?
There
that
had to be some kind of injury reason or something they wanted to keep quiet. You know,
I mean,
It
I
could be.
don't.
We never know, but you put a. I'm sorry. I'm not. I shouldn't say that about our backup rookie quarterback, but he is trash. He lost in preseason as well.
Well, I mean, I guess you could say rookie in terms of being of experience, but I'm just thinking. I don't think there was an injury to Aaron Rodgers. It's just a situation where look, we getting blown out. No need to keep you in the game. Just sit down, take a chill pill. Go ahead and let love get in there. Let them do.
Right.
Let them mop up.
You know, Jordan Love is green. We all know he's green. He's a rookie. He's just trying to get the feel for the NFL because everybody said when a rookie cornerback comes in, the college days are over. You can't think about the college days when you're out there on the field with, veterans and people that's got like 8, 9 year experience on, the gridiron.
Hmm. I mean that's true. I mean you did what you had to do to get into the league, but now you're here and you have to start all over again. You have to prove yourself all over in practice during the game. And, uh, and the situation in Green Bay is just one that I mean, of course, we all know Rodgers felt disrespected because they
Mm.
to the quarterback, and he don't want to be there. So basically, he don't want to sit here and say it, but this is going to be a lame duck year for him in Green Bay. I mean, no matter what he does, I mean, he can break the all time passing record. He can break the touchdown record. They can go into the playoffs. They go to the Super Bowl, and he can win the Super Bowl. But when the season's over with, he gonna want to leave. And true enough, Green Bay management said that they will reevaluate everything at the end of the year. But I'm pretty sure that if they do all that, they do all what I just said, and they win the Super Bowl. They gonna do their best not to trade Aaron, or they gonna be wanting
Mm-hmm.
some extravagant package for him. Like the Texans, they still want an extravagant package for Deshaun Watson, but you still don't know his legal issues. So,
Exactly.
so why would you still, in the case of Deshaun, why would you sit there and trade players and 3-1 draft picks and all that stuff to get somebody who gonna be who don't he we don't when the next time he gonna go to court, we don't even know. So
It could
basically,
be 2 to 3 years from now that Deshaun Watson is sitting in court with these litigate, whatever he's being accused for. It could
right.
be it could be 2 to 3 years before he sits on trial, and then they're gonna be like, you know, we'll just charge him with all this and have him pay all these fines, and he's gonna be out of the NFL.
I mean,
It's like there's several different things that can happen between now and then.
yeah, I mean, a lot can happen. Um, Hopefully, they will. We already know the wheels of justice turn slow. Let's just hope they pick
Hmm.
up a little bit further along in this case. Now, uh, Shady, you're now. I'm gonna say your, but I don't know if you want to claim them. Atlanta Falcons. The Dirty Birds got they got picked up high in the air by the Eagles and got dropped.
I mean, I kind of feel
Wait,
like
you
they
mean
need
his
the
lovely
dumbass award this
Atlanta?
week.
Yeah, definitely.
I think I might need the dumbass award for picking a couple of Falcons.
This moment just makes you want to say, Thomas!
Hey,
Yeah,
I
so
think
I'll just go ahead and share my smoking with Shady moment about how I love my Falcons. I always love my Atlanta Falcons. But it seems like year after year after year after year, they keep making the same damn mistakes. And it gets to a point to where you're just kind of tired, And so Tampa Bay has always been kind of like my second team. Well, I never really cared or liked Tom Brady. So now I'm conflicted. Tom Brady's a Tampa Bay Buccaneer. What do? You know what I'm saying? If you can't beat them, join them. Isn't that what they say? So I think I've officially become a Tom Brady and a Tampa Bay Buccaneers fan. I just don't know what else to do at this point. You know what I mean? So, like I said, you can either give
Mm.
me the dumbass award or give it to the Atlanta Falcons administration.
We're gonna give it to the Falcons administration because Shady, you by far have a dumbass reward not coming from the score report ever.
Oh,
Because
well, I,
we're
I,
just
I appreciate that.
we're gonna give it to that organization because you know
I
they
like it. Blame me.
they went to the Super Bowl against Tom Brady and the Patriots, and they was up 20 points, and then they crapped themselves. So there you go. That's how you prove your Atlanta
Yeah.
football
Yeah.
team
That's
is.
how that's how I feel every year though, watching Atlanta. It's like even if they start doing good in a game, it's like by the time the game is done,
It's
you're doing this. Oh man.
it's like watching that bad Justice League movie that Zack Snyder did not produce. It's like, hey, go watch. Yeah, go watch that. Ladies and gentlemen, if you not seen the Zack Snyder's Justice League movie, you have to see it and then go watch the other one in 4K. You will never ever watch that movie again.
Yeah. The Zack Snyder. I know that's off topic, but then the Zack Snyder Cut movie is definitely a whole bunch of
And
thumbs
definitely,
up in the air.
you know,
So,
hit that that Zack Snyder's edition has sold more DVDs than the other version.
oh yeah, definitely. I wouldn't know it.
Yeah. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and do a live score update real quick. With 9:17 left in the third quarter, the Los Angeles Rams hold a 20-7 lead on the Chicago Bears.
Yep.
Holy moly! Wait a minute. You're telling me Matt Stafford or Stratford or whatever you want to call him goes from Detroit to Los Angeles and he's playing better football?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's correct.
Holy moly! I'm gonna have to give a dumbass reward to Detroit because you had
Sounds
a
right.
potential great quarterback, and now he's in Los Angeles and he's doing fantastic things.
I mean, Stafford, he toiled in Detroit. I mean, they just never had a good enough defense behind them. I mean, offensively they did good. He had two things. He did not have two things: a decent running back, a decent defense. You know, I mean, they tried, but no one could do anything there. I mean, it's just crazy.
You have to think
Now,
too, from a quarterback standpoint, when you don't have those elements in play, like it's going to affect your gameplay, and it affects your mentality as a player. So it really does affect your all around gameplay throughout the year. When you don't have those aspects, because you're looking at it like, well, they don't care. So you start not caring, as much,
right,
or even if you do, you don't have the key elements to make the things happen. You can sit down and draw up all these plays all you want to. It can be a miracle $1 million play, but if you don't have the player that can make it happen, what's the point?
yeah, that's true. Like, I mean, look, Dan Marino, one of the greatest quarterbacks ever. Never had a running game in Miami.
Yep.
Only been to one Super Bowl. John Elway, another great quarterback ever. Been to 4 Super Bowls. No
Was
running
that
game.
four? Wasn't it?
Yeah. He been I mean, I think Denver was at 4, and Elway was the quarterback. Was the quarterback in 3 of them. They didn't win. They get a running game. They get Terrell Davis. They let them run. Back-to-back world champions. Elway is they don't talk about Elway's futility in Super Bowls no more. They just talk about those two, and he had a running game, and then he retired. That was it. you know, I
Right.
mean, you don't have to have it. And the thing about the way the NFL is, you don't have to have 1,000-yard rusher. Just a running back that can, you give him the ball, you give him the rock, he gets 4, 5 yards a pop, to where the defense got to sit there and like, okay, well they got a running back, we got to stop the run. Then you can do your play action. But but if you don't have nobody to do that, then it's gonna be okay. We already know what we're gonna pass. We'll just sit back and wait. You know.
Absolutely. And that's when you get your picks. That's when you get intercepted, pick sixes, and all that stuff starts to happen. And it's like, you guys gonna have to reevaluate your game when it comes to halftime. And then when you come out of halftime and start the second half of the football games and that, it's just like, oh, you threw your fifth pick of the game. Maybe you guys didn't talk about enough during halftime.
Right.
It,
Yeah, you're right. I wonder also the most surprising game of the week is the Jaguars and Texans. Now, being here in Houston, I know people that been Texans fans. They done tried to root for them. They tired of rooting for them. They stopped rooting for the Texans. They started rooting for the Jaguars. And I thought this was gonna be a nip and tuck game, probably like New England Miami, 17-16. But nope. Texans came out. They played I'm gonna say almost a complete game. Their running game was decent. They got over 100 yards total running in the running game. Um, Tyrod Taylor threw some nice passes. Receivers made nice catches. Defense put pressure on Trevor Lawrence, old Golden Boy, made him throw some picks, and they had this game in control from the get go. They was already up 14-0 at the in the first quarter. So the Texans did a great job. Now I don't know what they're gonna do against Cleveland next week, but they did for 1 week. They played great. You know for 1 week. I seen a sign saying, we don't need Watson. No, that's not the case. You do need Watson. However, the team that you got assembled, that the Casario has got assembled now, they gonna do decent. My son's saying 8 and 9. I'm saying at least 5-11. I mean 5-12.
Sounds more like it.
Yeah. Speaking of Cleveland Brown, the Cleveland Browns was in Kansas City against Mahomes and the Travis Kelce at Arrowhead Stadium. Now, the Browns fell short to KC, but we all know Mahomes has got that. He's got the legs to run the ball. He's got the weapons to throw to. And here comes Rick. Fly, Eagles, fly.
Fly, Eagles.
That's
let me
a
tell
slap
you
in the
something,
face.
Philadelphia Eagles.
I mean, I wanna say something so bad, but my thing is this. One of my quarterbacks in one of the fantasy leagues I have, my starting quarterback is Jalen Hurts. So I can't. It's like all I can do is just look at it as my mom cursing me out, and I can't say anything back. I can't say anything back. I can't be a smartass. I can't do shit. I
Hold
just have
on.
to sit
I
there and
can.
take it.
I can.
Y'all
Because
can. I can't.
Philly ain't going to no Super Bowl, and if they do, they gonna end up losing. But that's besides the point. Kansas City proved that they can prevail over the Browns. And Thursday night, great football. Tonight, also great football. Tomorrow night's gonna be some more great football. And I hate to say it, there's probably gonna be more people watching football than wrestling.
Yeah, that's true. Now,
I wouldn't doubt that.
before we do get to the rest of it, I want to talk about the college thing real quick, and just a real quick. Let's see, Rick.
You know what, Rick? You know what,
Okay,
Rick? You might pay the bills around here, and I might get fired after tonight. But we still got a chance to win MVP for quarterback and advance into the playoffs. We have a good chance. Good chance. And when, your sweet Eagles are sitting there in a wild card spot trying to fight their way in, I'm going to be sitting there with the world's smallest violin doing one of these.
You all froze. I'm out. Going to bed. Got to work now. Talk to you later night. Well, fine then.
Yeah, fine then. Good night, Rick.
yeah, we always
Bro,
freezing.
give us some updates on some college football.
Okay.
feel bulletproof. You know, when you're standing in that tunnel and you hear that crowd roaring, and you come out of that locker room with your guys, man, you feel bulletproof, man. You feel almost like you're Superman. Feel like can't nothing stop you.
All right, college football.
That guy right there. Yeah.
Just you know what? College football. Ohio State. Well, Oregon Ducks went to Ohio State. They went to the horseshoe and they beat the vaulted Ohio State Buckeyes. I forget the score, but yeah, they won. Alabama, they played Mercer. What do you expect? They won. Got a couple of guys hurt in that game. But
Georgia won.
The main thing I want, we're gonna focus on is Oklahoma, University of Texas, Cincinnati, BYU, Central Florida, and University of Houston. Why? Because they all in the Big 12 conference. Now the Big 12 conference, they only had 10 members. About a couple months ago, it was reported that Oklahoma, the University of Oklahoma, and University of Texas, they want to go to the SEC. Well, they applied for they told the Big 12 that they're not going to honor the contract, the current television contract, that they want to get out of the Big 12, which they can do. They can leave right now, but they'll have to pay the Big 12 like $80 million. So they don't want to do that. They did apply for application to the Southeastern Conference, the SEC. Texas A&M didn't like that, but they all voted to let Oklahoma and Texas A&M in 2025. Basically, everybody thought the death of the Big Ten was coming. I mean, the Big 12. The Big Ten. Here's the weird thing about it. The Big Ten has 14 schools. The SEC has 14 schools right now. The Pac-12 has 12 schools. ACC has about maybe like 14 schools. The Big 12 had 10 schools. Now they down to 8. But now they're back up to 12 because as of this past week, they did some talking with other schools, found other schools that wanted to join, and Brigham Young University, Central Florida University, University of Houston, and University of Cincinnati. They all are going to join the Big 12 conference, with BYU being an independent. They're gonna start in like 2023, and UCF, Cincinnati, and Houston going to start in 2024. They can UCF, Cincinnati, and Houston can come in there earlier. They just gotta work out an agreement, exit strategy agreement with the American Athletic Conference, and they may be able to get out after a year. But for right now, the Big 12, one of the Power 5 conferences that basically ESPN didn't want to keep around anymore, or because of the TV contract and stuff. They are now, and they was on life support for a couple months. It's like they was on life support. They are no longer on life support. They have got 12 teams, to where when Oklahoma and Texas leave, they got 12 teams. And it's possible they may pick up Boise State and Memphis later on. So they might be up to 15 teams. So with that being said, the Big 12 is going to be alive and well. My curse against the Big 12 football teams has now been lifted. So hopefully one of them will win a national championship, not Oklahoma and Texas. And speaking of Texas, they played in Arkansas last night. They went to Arkansas. Arkansas had a rough time against Rice before beating them the week before. They ran all over Texas. I'm sitting there laughing at it. I mean, I was out. I was out at a place called Twin Peaks, and they had TVs all over. I'm looking right at it. UT getting ran over, and I'm just laughing my ass off every time. They looking at me like, "Oh, you don't like you for Texas?" I said, "Nah, I don't like Texas." And a lot of people get surprised when I sit here and say I don't like Texas, and I'm from Texas. Don't get me wrong. The reason why I got this hat is not because of UT. It's because the way it looks. A black this black Longhorn, it looks nice. It's a nice looking hat. That's why I got it.
Yeah.
But other than that, no, I don't like UT. I never have liked UT. I have my reasons for not liking UT. You know, all the way from when they did not want U of H to be in the, they didn't like U of H in the Southwest Conference. They didn't want U of H to be in the Big 12 Conference when they first started. They didn't want U of H to be in the Big 12 Conference in 2016. Uh, you know, I mean, when they played for the Big 12 championship game, and they had Phil Sims of CBS, uh, son. They had him starting, and he gave the game away, throwing interceptions right and left. Major Applewhite damn near brought them back. I mean, like I said, this is just a bias. I mean, this just is a bias. I mean, the one time I really liked UT, they lost to Alabama. That's when the Alabama shit started rolling in. So maybe I was a curse on UT. I don't know, and I don't care.
Well,
So,
as we're talking about Big 12 and all these other teams going to different things to get out of there, but there's one team that you never hear in these situations, or if you do, it's just bad for the college, and that is Missouri State football organization. Like, they haven't been heard to make any places like this in years.
I mean, the only time Missouri was good was when I went to Missouri in NCAA football 2006 in career mode.
Hey,
I went
okay, I might get
and
a
I
lot
won
of
the
heat.
Heisman 3 years in a row. I helped Missouri to 2 national championships. So,
Yeah, see, look, I might get a lot of heat. I'm from St. Louis, Missouri, and I give two shits if Missouri State can go anywhere. It's like they haven't been good in years, so they can just like stay at the bottom of the totem pole until they can figure out what they can do.
So I guess I can't say that because I'm from Georgia and I like Georgia, but the Falcons are starting to,
you got the University of Georgia down there.
Yeah, the
In Athens,
Bulldogs, man,
between the
Yeah,
edges.
that's what I'm
Bulldogs.
saying. I'm from Georgia. I like the Georgia Bulldogs, but damn, as far as the Atlanta Falcons go, we're starting to lean the other direction.
Yeah, I would lead the other direction too if I had Matt Ryan.
Yeah, I mean,
And no Julio Jones.
I mean they played Georgia they played who they played they beat Clemson last week. They did great. They beat Clemson last week. And they also and they went up against Alabama and Birmingham yesterday. I don't know the score of that game. I don't know the score of that game, but they did good on that. I mean, I'm pretty sure they did good because it's Alabama Birmingham.
We have a live update for the Rams versus the Bear game.
Okay.
Matt Trafford hit Kip with a wide open 56-yard touchdown TD pass.
Cooper Kupp.
Woo! Yes,
Cooper Kupp.
Cooper Kupp with a 56-yard touchdown pass from Matt Trafford. The crowd's going wild right now. And fortunately
Fantasy
for
points.
Chicago, they still suck. Moving on.
Well, I guess this will segue into the fantasy football portion of the show. in which if that me, BG, and Shady we're in the Living Legends of Fantasy League on ESPN.com. Where me and BG is also in the SWA League and on NFL.com. Shady and I are in the Boss Memorial League on ESPN.com, and I think we might be in another league together. Uh, so we're in different leagues. We're all basically in different leagues, and let's just say
See,
we're
see,
we're
with
not.
fantasy football at the end of the year, whatever person wins have a bragging rights for the year, and I still got bragging rights from last year. So the team money and Living Legends is hopefully to try to repeat this year. But again, Team Shady has beaten me by a certain amount of points, but hopefully Lamar Jackson does not let me down. If he does,
I
he's
think
getting
so.
the hell up
I
out of
think
my
you're in
team.
pretty good shape. I think you'll be in good shape after tomorrow night. So
Yeah. But if, if we're giving recaps for fantasy football last year, Ralph was in the Living Legends and he come down to me and him. Went to sleep 24 hours later. I'm like, I don't want to look at it. Ralph's got me beat. And I look at it. I come back and I'm sitting at
Yeah,
top of
he
the
won.
mountain as the
He
champ.
yes, he won. That's I went to bed with the lead. I'm like, I got this. I got this. I got the
yeah,
bragging rights.
that's,
But
that's
nope.
that's what I said about the Falcons Patriots Super Bowl game too. I was like, we got this. It's in the bag. Nope, nope.
I think it was a 30-point lead that you had on me.
It was
Yeah,
not. I mean, it was kind of slim. I mean, maybe it might have been 30. I think it was less than that.
it was about 25, 30 points. He had a lead on me. But thanks to Mahomes and Travis Kelsey, they got me made up the points and it was all said and done. It's like, you know, Mahomes went very quickly in the first round. And then I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna have to wait on the tight end. And I'm like, okay, Travis Kelsey's still sitting there. And I'm like, all right, he's still there. And I snag Kelsey quickly because everybody else knows you got a Mahomes and Kelsey hookup. That's gonna get your points right there. Major points. But
Yeah.
unfortunately I couldn't get Mahomes, so I have Lamar Jackson. And we all know Lamar Jackson, he can run the football and pass the ball. So hopefully I can pull out some points and over surpass Shady.
And
Well,
the
I'm,
thing
I'm
about it,
hoping you don't, but we'll see.
and the
It's
thing
only
about it,
week one.
yeah, it's only week
Yeah.
one. But in the Living Legends League, we too will be, as I take a look at it right now, the what's your team name? The Atlanta Shadies versus Mercenaries in the muck. Me and you, Shady.
I think it's week 6 I'm not looking forward to because I got a lot of players that have the same bye week. So I think it's week 6. It's going to be rough for me. So
Yeah.
I mean, I
But
would like
you
to hope
know,
for a good enough lead leading up to week 6 to where I would be safe, but we'll just have to see.
I looked at the ESPN prediction for the end, like just a hard rough estimate for the end of the year for fantasy. I was in the number one spot. Now I'm down to number 7. It's fluctuating up and down. So anything can happen. Ralph can win this year. You can win this year. Hell, anybody can win. But I still have
Right.
bragging rights until the end of the year.
I like it. I like it.
Yeah, he does. So now that being said, let's go ahead and get on to the one thing that we all love, we all talk about, we all promo about, and we also, you know, Well, that's even better. Okay.
Okay, I didn't even click on it, and it's just okay. Not the WWE. Let's put these up here. Come on.
Yeah. We all know nothing against WWE. They just need to do better creatively. But they screwing up. They finna screw up NXT. I also
Yeah,
heard that
definitely.
Samoa Joe is vacating his title because he's injured. So um, no telling what's going on with no telling what's going on with creative. I mean, still the hottest thing out there right now is in
Is
come to WWE is Roman Reigns. We all sit there and talk about that. In fact, let's do talk about that.
before
PWI.
we get talked into that, the All Out pay per view for AEW was the
Oh yes,
hottest pay per view over
yes.
SummerSlam, surprisingly. And then Vince McMahon early Monday night calls an emergency creative meeting. Okay, you should have done that before the All Out pay per view, before you lost CM Punk, Adam Cole, baby, and the American Dragon, Bryan Daniels.
Ruby Soho.
And so Ruby Soho, and there's so many names. We can't
Andre
list them all.
Andre El Idolo.
The El
Yep.
Digaro.
Yeah, 2.0, which was Everrise
Hmm.
which was Everrise in WWE. Big Show left.
Paul White, as he's known now by his
All
real
right.
name.
Mark Henry left. Nah, I mean, you know, Christian left. I mean,
Sting.
so well, yeah, Sting left. I mean, hell, their former ring announcer Justin Roberts.
Yep.
I mean, of course, Jericho.
I mean, I could understand and see where some people's viewpoints on AEW is they're just a bunch of WWE rejects. But
Now, I
the
want to
people
add this shading.
the people that have gone to AEW from WWE had more of a vision for the sport than the WWE ever could.
No, yeah.
And I think that's why they're doing good things with AEW, because they're taking back a little bit of the wrestler's love for the passion and putting that, actually being able to put that into the business instead of being held under so much scrutiny and control.
Absolutely. AEW is giving us, I hate to say it, AEW is giving us 10 times better shows throughout the week over a WWE show because they're getting
And
more
see,
views.
again, though, that could be just because it's new. You know, we've been craving something new for such a long time. We're finally getting it. And, you know, we'll have to see how long it holds out. You know, to say that AEW is going to be doing good in 5 years, we'll have to see. You know, because whenever TNA first came around, it was popular, it was big, it was huge, did good for about 4 years, and then started going downhill. So
And
I hope
Impact
AEW
Wrestling
doesn't
is
do that.
more of indies now almost. Because you
Right.
got a lot of indie guys over there and indie female superstars as well.
Definitely.
Yeah, and another thing is, let's say that like, in the case of Brian Cage, okay, Brian Cage is not featured on AEW no more. Well, but he's still wrestling. He's able to go wrestle in PWG,
Right.
Pro Wrestling Guerrilla. Whereas if Brian Cage didn't have WWE didn't have anything for Brian Cage, he'd just be sitting back there and catering.
Yeah.
Well, that's like Bryan Danielson's contract. I mean, that was one of the reasons why he left WWE. They were saying that he was in negotiations and Vince was actually going to let him go wrestle the G1 Climax. But Vince McMahon probably don't understand what the G1 Climax even is when he agreed to it. You know, so that's what's good about the contract deals with AEW is they're letting these guys go and wrestle for other companies, like John Moxley would, in New Japan and all that kind of stuff. And I can't think of his name now. The
Nick Gage.
Well, you have Moxley's the GCW World Champion. He beat Matt Cardona for it.
Right. The guy that beat Moxley for the New Japan United States, Lance Archer. He's able to go and do the independents, like he's used to doing, because he loves doing that. So
yeah,
they seem to have a lot more freedom with their contracts than AEW.
And over in AEW, they got a lot more freedom to go to these other independent shows and then incorporate that into the AEW world to introduce fans back to what professional wrestling is.
Yes.
Yeah, basically
it's like, Moxley, like Ralph said, Moxley is GCW World Champion. But if you watch the show, he did not come out with that belt.
That's true.
Yeah, he don't come out with the belt.
But however, that may have been taped before. So
that is true.
Because AEW is taped.
Yeah, and when he was United States Heavyweight Champion for New Japan, he came out with the belt. He had that belt for almost a year until losing it back, until Lance Archer beating him again for it.
Yeah, and then he ended up losing to, I think, Okada. Okada has it now.
Yeah.
Oh no, Tanahashi. Tanahashi got it.
Yeah.
Because I remember Tanahashi was on. He was on TV saying he was gonna come to the US and get that belt. I was like, damn, I wanted to see Tanahashi. So.
Yeah, and Moxley has a rematch for that title anytime he wants.
So I mean, is that what they call that? Is that that quote unquote forbidden door? Because eventually, I mean, in Impact Wrestling, I mean, you have Jay White from the Bullet Club coming there.
Yep.
I mean, eventually you're gonna have the Bullet Club. You might want to say Bullet Club versus Bullet Club, but it's Bullet Club versus the Elite. It's gonna happen. Because I think the Gorillas of Destiny, the Gorillas of Destiny is coming. They coming here. I forgot who had Jay White brought into the Bullet Club. Their wrestlers Impact. Was it Rich Swann?
I think so.
Yeah. So
it's like AEW don't have that forbidden wall like Vince has up, where you can't go over here and do this and expect to work for me and try to make me money. Well, Tony and them's over here like, forget that forbidden wall. We're gonna do something that should have been done long time ago.
Yep.
Instead of trying to capitalize for money, let's capitalize for the fans and get back to them. Like when CM Punk had his debut in the ring to talk about things, they gave away free ice cream bars with his logo on it from a local ice cream shop in Chicago.
They also sold over 100,000 T-shirts in less than 3 days.
Yes, that too.
Yeah, the site just crashed. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, hell, I want one of those shirts. Oh, I want one of those shirts. I mean, I'd love to have that shirt. I'd love to have the Bloodline shirt for WWE. But I also would like to have Eddie Kingston's "Redeem These Nuts" shirt. I mean,
yes. Yeah. One of the best shirts of the year, if you ask me.
I mean, yeah, because I didn't even know they made a shirt out of it. I seen it with it on, and I was like, I just started laughing.
Yeah.
I said, I gotta get that shirt. It's
That just goes to
And
show, like, like sometimes they do pay attention to social media. Like they have to. You know what I mean? Because they've got to
and,
be able to
and
pick
that's
up
what
on stuff like that.
AEW is doing. They're paying more to the social media with the fans telling them what they
Yeah.
want to see, and they're doing it. And where Vince ain't getting the knowledge of it, he goes, "That's not what's best for business. This is what's best for business." It's like I grew up on WWE. I grew up when WCW was around. You know, the whole Monday Night War situation,
Oh, yeah.
and when all that happened, and then it all come down to just one company until Impact Wrestling picked up. It's like, wow, all right, they got more competition, and then it fell dramatically. It's like,
Well, let's talk about Triple H and him having a heart attack.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
like,
Triple H had a cardiac event. So
Yeah.
yeah, he was in the hospital. I know he's at the hospital now. He's recovering. I know that's a big. I know that's definitely a big scare because with with you know with him basically with any wrestler being in shape the way they are. When you're not wrestling no more, you may let yourself go a little bit, but you still you go out, you work out. You're not just sitting there just sitting on your ass, just getting fat. You know,
Right.
so that just basically let you know it don't matter that if your heart, your body, no matter how much in shape you are, because you can be in shape, be in the best shape of health, and you have a heart attack.
You ticker, man. You ticker.
and speaking of Triple H and NXT is like Triple H's brand, and now Vince is putting his hands in his pocket, like this is what we're gonna do now, and then they got a new logo calling it NXT 2.0. It's like, no, the black and gold brand should still be here. I get you need a new, event to a new thing, a venture off to it, but keep the same stuff going like you've been doing, but change it up just a little, not throw a change all fully in there. And
Yeah,
one of NXT's big signs in the WWE tryouts, I think, was in Vegas, was Rakishi's other son, the Usos' younger brother. Now,
yeah,
he was throwing hints out there on Twitter, his Facebook page. It's like, even his father was doing it out there. He's
Yeah.
like, things are coming. Change is coming. And I believe it. You know, he gets in that NXT ring. He probably will venture off into the main roster. And, he'll probably be with
They
the
signed
Usos or
the
fighting them.
right. They signed the Olympic gold medalist too.
Yeah.
I can't
yeah,
think of his name right now.
yeah. Because right now, basically, they thought they could win. They try to position NXT to go up against AEW in the Wednesday Night Wars. It did not work. They lost.
Did not work. Total
Okay,
fail.
so
Mm.
instead of sitting there saying, "Okay, what can we do to make it better?" Oh, well, they probably did say that. What can we do to make it better? Oh, I know.
Let's
Stop
move it to
doing.
Tuesday night.
Yeah, well, they
Yeah.
moved to Tuesday. They tried to, let's move to Tuesday. Okay, and that's fine, dandy. If you want to do that, but
It
but
just wasn't
now,
enough.
now you're sitting there saying that you're changing it up to where if you want to be in WWE, you gotta go through NXT. But if you want to go through NXT, you can't be. You gotta be under 30. You gotta be at least 6'2", 6'2",
And
220.
and they also changed it. No more indie wrestlers can come in and do it.
Yeah,
No.
You gotta be under a certain age to get into NXT now, and you gotta go through tryouts. You don't automatically get signed if you're an indie wrestler anymore.
Well,
That's
you
another
can be
thing
an
Vince
indie
changed.
wrestler. you just can't have wrestled for like a big company like Ring of Honor, Impact, places like that, New Japan. They're not looking for those one or two superstars from those companies anymore. They're looking for the guys who haven't made it to those companies yet.
Yeah. Like we wouldn't have known who Adam Cole is without going through the indie scene. We wouldn't have known anything about Brian Danielson. We know CM Punk. All those
Or
guys.
AJ Styles,
AJ Styles.
Samoa Joe. Guys names like that, we would never know about them if it wasn't for the indie scene.
Yeah, but then they also know. Then you got some. Okay, then you got some people that get all mad that when that Adam Cole or Cole and Moxley and Danielson they leave to go to AEW. Oh, well, y'all turn your back on WWE. Shoot, hell, how did Hulk Hogan get to WWF? He was in AWW. He was in he was in AWA. They didn't want to push him in AWA. Vern Gagne didn't want to push him in AWA. So he went to WWF. He went to WWF. As soon as he gets there, he beats the Iron Sheik. Gagne wanted to pay Iron Sheik $150,000 to break Hogan's leg. So you can't sit. So this leaving one company for another, or getting one star from another company for another company and making them your top star. This is not anything new.
And it's like when you sign, like with the WWE, when you sign a major contract, it's like the whole 90 days no wrestling clause. Where the flaws is they forgot to do that with Malachi Black. He had a 30 days no wrestling clause.
That they forgot to do it. They just forgot to change his contract over from NXT to a WWE contract. Because NXT contracts only had a 30-day no compete clause, but WWE has a 90-day no compete clause.
Yeah, and they were still trying. They were trying to get him back. And then they could have kept Cole, but this is what they wanted to do. They didn't want him to wrestle.
Well, the reason for the 30-day compete clause in NXT is only because these guys have to work. So like, Vince, you can wrestle somewhere, the day before you come over to NXT, but the day you walk out of NXT, they're going to make sure to at least hold some kind of time over you, but they'll pay you for that 30 days, but they just, like with the 90-day no compete clause, that's like Vince's way of trying to bury a character, if he has a 90-day no compete clause and they were popular, 90 days can destroy a character in the business because that leaves 90 days for somebody else to come in and take that position.
Right, and it's like, when NXT TakeOver 36 was Adam Cole's last match. That wasn't not that long ago. And now he's over on AEW television, with the Elite. It's like, he knows he can't wrestle, I guess. But I guess it really doesn't matter anymore since he's all into this new contract with a different company.
Right, because his contract was up, so he can go anywhere. And I'm pretty sure he already said on Twitch he's not giving up his Twitch stream. So, and WWE is already, they're like, well, if you're making money off of any third party platform, you got to give it to them. And like, I'm like, personally, I'm like, no. If that's how they making ends meet in between matches from off the off the contracts, then there ain't nothing you can do about that. That's like that's why Selena Vega left. She didn't want to give that up. I don't know why she came back, because they basically they just sitting there jobbing her. They sitting there jobbing her out. They sitting there punishing her, especially for Malachi being in AEW. I mean, that's just
They
you
did the
know,
same thing to Lana when Miro left. You
yeah,
remember?
yeah. I mean, they did the same thing to her, and I mean, at least they not doing her like they did, Miro's wife. I mean, they was
Yeah, I
popping,
mean they
busting
put
up the
Lana through
tables
the
every
table
week.
every single time they got the opportunity.
It's like, Chelsea Green. You know, they tried to get her for her third party format money, but she told them to screw off because that's how she's paying her bills when they didn't have anything for her. All these
Right.
superstars that they don't have anything for, and these formats are out there like that for them to get paid, so they can make sure bills are paid. What are you gonna do? Let them sit in their home while they're waiting for your check to hit the bank once a month?
Well, sometimes, in Vince's opinion, it's better for him to pay them to sit at home and do nothing than it is for them to go make better another company more money.
Yeah.
Because he's looking at it as that's viewers.
Hmm.
Right.
I mean, at least, I mean, if I was Vince McMahon, that's the way I would look at it. You know, if I can pay this superstar $100,000 to sit at home for 30 days, that's to me, that's better than them going to the other company and helping that company make, $500,000. So,
Yeah,
But
that's
again,
true too.
is it dirty? Yes, it is. But I mean, when you're trying to control and run a business, you do what you do.
yeah, but again, $100,000 ain't a lot of money for a superstar to live off a month when they got like a house payment of over
Hey, look,
$2,500 and
look,
car
look,
payments outrageous.
superstars are people just like we are. If they can't survive off $100,000 a month, give me that money and I'll show you how to do it. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
Like,
when
I mean,
Randy Orton and them, like superstars like Randy Orton and Triple H and Stone Cold, they had their major injuries like that. You know, they got paid more money to sit at home recovering for injuries than sitting at home
right,
doing nothing, trying to figure out, okay, when's my next match? Like,
right,
they got paid that $500,000 to sit home. It's
yeah,
like, there's certain superstars that say, Vince paid all my medical bills and he took care of me. But again, you're
right,
going to come back and you're going to get jobbed out just to pay that money back.
yeah,
Yeah. Vince probably didn't even pay your insurance, pay your medical bills. You had to get your own insurance to do it because that's one thing. That's one thing that's true. I want to say with every wrestling organization, they don't have a no, they don't have a benefits package. So anything
Mm,
that happens, you had to come out of your pocket.
yeah. You gotta cover your own ass because, and the reason why it's like that, man, is because if you're wrestling for multiple organizations, they don't want to be responsible. They don't want their insurance policies to be responsible for you getting hurt over in another company. Say I
exactly.
wrestle for
Hmm.
one company tonight, but I go and wrestle for another one tomorrow night, and I go in on the third day with an injury. Well, which company did I get injured in? You know what I mean? So insurance doesn't like paying out unless they have for sure knowledge of what actually happened. And with that type of business, it's hard to dictate when something actually happened, sometimes.
Well, yeah, yeah. Of course, that's true as well. I mean, that's one thing about insurance. They want you to pay. They want you to pay on it, but when it's time for them, but when it's time for you to use it, They want you to go flip.
No,
They want you to do flips, jump up and down. You know,
they're like,
put your
who are
left
you
foot in,
Basic,
again?
left foot out.
right. Basically, it's like this. It's like being a cheerleader, head of the cheerleader squad, and the mini skirt and the crop top with the pom poms, dancing in front of your boss, being like, "Hey, thanks for what you do," and the insurance company being like, "Hey, we're not paying his medical bills because he went over here and got hurt. It's not your company." Like, basically that's how insurance companies are doing nowadays. Like, hey, you're dressed up like a college cheerleader or you know, one of the Lakers girls trying to figure out who's gonna pay these bills for me. It's like, eh. Let's let's put this one to the side and let's talk about Roman Reigns, the head at the table, the tribal chief. Uh, SmackDown SmackDown was relevant better than 2 weeks ago. SmackDown, like the Bloodline comes to the ring, and they start talking about the match with Finn Balor and Roman at Extreme Rules, where Roman Reigns is like, I'm gonna smash this cat, and then it's not the Finn Balor you expected to come to the ring. It
Nah.
was the Demon King himself. Like, that is what's putting this match build up better than probably the last few he had from Edge and John Cena's match.
Guys, I hate to jump off here, but man, my phone's about to die.
Thanks for coming on the show.
Yeah, that's true. But before we do that, let's do a live score update. Now, when I know you the last one you did, BG, that was Matthew Stafford threw a touchdown pass to Cooper Kupp. Justin Fields is in the game, and he done already scored a touchdown. That dropped the deficit down to 27-14, but the Rams just scored again and made it 34-14 with maybe 3 minutes left to go in the game. So Justin Fields already people in Chicago are gonna be screaming for him to start, and meanwhile Matthew Stafford is showing that, hey, with everything behind me, I can be a better player. Now, with Roman Reigns and the Demon King Finn Balor, that should be an intriguing matchup at Extreme Rules. But my thing is this: you want the Demon King to win. How's that gonna happen?
Finn Balor is not a quitter. He's one of them top prestige superstars right now that you could put him up against a big guy like Roman Reigns. He's going to fight his heart out to win. That's what makes him different between any other superstar right now. And with, Roman Reigns being the hottest thing for SmackDown, Roman Reigns has already got his demons that he's got to work past. You beat John Cena at, the third biggest pay-per-view of the year.
Right.
And then you got the Beast Incarnate showing up out of nowhere. And then you got all this stuff coming out in the air now where they were, the Bloodline, and then was in the ring, and then they're talking about things, and then the Beast Incarnate comes out, and he's like, hey, Paul, why didn't you tell Roman I was going to be at SummerSlam? And, that thought there was going to be a split up between Paul and Roman, but it didn't. And then Paul Heyman's standing in the ring with Brock, and he's dancing around. I've been the advocate for Brock Lesnar for 20 plus years, the reigning, defending, yada, yada, yada. My name is Paul Heyman. We know. Okay? We know your name. We know who the guy standing in the ring is. And then the switch was flipped. The script has been totally turned on Paul, where Lesnar's like, I want a Universal title match against Roman, and you got 5 seconds to agree to it. Well, we thought we was going to see Paul Heyman get that fight in the middle of the ring, until the tribal chief itself Superman punches Brock Lesnar, and then the Usos super kicking him, but the Usos got took in the suplex city. And Roman Reigns does what Roman Reigns does best when it comes to Brock and runs out of the ring. Like, come on. If you can Superman punch a man that's gone to, F5 your special counsel, and then have your cousin super kick him, and then all of a sudden this man snaps and takes your cousins to Suplex City. Why didn't you stay in there and go to Suplex City too?
Well, I mean, from various sites that they did what they did to combat CM Punk being on Dynamite. I mean, not Dynamite, being on Rampage. That's why, with Sasha being out, that's why they did, they brought Becky back. Uh, with Brock, they trying to match, they trying to curtail it. I mean, Fox was mad at WWE for not signing CM Punk, not trying to sign CM Punk. Because when it comes to Brock was supposed to go up against Roman, like I think at WrestleMania 39. It basically, the way they had it was they had it to where Roman was going to wrestle The Rock at probably wrestle The Rock at no, let me reverse that. It's supposed to be Roman versus The Rock at WrestleMania 39. Uh, since it's in Hollywood, since it's in Los Angeles, and and I think Brock was going to be his opponent at WrestleMania 38, which is going to be in Dallas. So they just brought him in. They just brought him in a little bit early. So uh, they just right now they are trying to draw straws with him, with Roman, and they're trying to put somebody. They trying because they gonna keep they gonna keep the story going. Uh, Big E, would he cash in on Roman? Don't know. He might have a better chance cashing in on Lashley.
I like this. I like the storyline, and I like what Big E's doing right now. On Friday night, Paul Heyman was scared to death. Like, reporters are asking, is Roman going to accept the match with Brock? And it led up to saying that after he smashes Finn Balor, he's going to go smash Brock Lesnar. But before they got to that part, Big E scared the crap out of Paul Heyman, had the briefcase on his shoulder, and does what he does best and just trolls the hell out of Paul Heyman.
Yeah.
And then he states, I can cash it in at Extreme Rules, or I can go to Monday Night and cash in. We'll never know. And then it went to, Roman Reigns going to the ring saying, after I smash Finn Balor, I'm going to smash Brock too. Okay, the last time you met Brock in the ring, Brock put a beat down on total wrecking beat down.
Yep, didn't like it. Didn't like it at all. I didn't. I don't. True enough that they said they have Finn coming as a Demon King, but I think they should have played it out. Just have the just play just hit the red lights and stuff. Play it up more, and then when the match comes, the Demon King comes out.
Yeah.
They could have did a better job on that, but it's Roman. It's gonna sell because the writers for SmackDown they sure as hell doing a lot better than the writers for Raw because Raw sometimes it's wash, rinse, repeat.
Right. And before the camera went off air for SmackDown, Paul and Jimmy and Jay, they got out of the ring quickly, and Roman Reigns is just standing there like, not afraid of you. Like, okay, you might not be afraid of Finn Balor, but Finn Balor knows how to put on a wrestling match. Not a show, but a wrestling match.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. Uh, what I was alluding to earlier was the PWI 500 came out, and they ranked Kenny Omega as number one and Roman Reigns as number two. A lot of people, of course, you got the WWE fans, WWE hunks, upset that Roman's not number one. But I think they did it right with Roman being number two, with uh, with Kenny Omega being number one. I mean, you know, Kenny actually wrestled around the world. He wrestled in different organizations. He held, like I said, he held four belts. I know two of them was from one company. He basically held four belts. He got two. He's still the AAA champion in Mexico. He's still AEW world champion. Roman, okay, Roman got the WWE Universal Championship, and he has wrestled got top people, but he hasn't wrestled no one around the world. I think that's for PWI. I think it's more worldly. That's why you don't see a lot of WWE wrestlers up high in the top 500. I mean,
Hmm.
Moxley was like number seven, number 6 or 7. He should have been ranked higher. Um, uh, Rich Swann at 10. That was a surprise. Lashley at 3. Okay, I give that to I give that to him because Lashley should have been ranked. Lashley should have been WWE champion a long time ago, but now but it happened. Um, well, what do you think? What do you think? You think Omega? You think PWI was right in having Kenny Omega being number one?
They are correct. Kenny Omega number one, Roman at number two. That should have been a hard number three because with Roman's, accomplish everything he has in his career right now, but with Bobby winning the World Heavyweight title, that's a big accomplishment for him. He should have been number two, but that's just how they put it. It's like Kenny Omega wrestles around the world. That's the reason why he's number one. And then Moxley at number 7, he could be an easily number 4 because Moxley was rated number 1 when he was the United States Heavyweight Champion for IGPW
Mm-hmm.
for New Japan. Like it could change. Roman Reigns can be ranked number 1 by the Royal Rumble, but it's one of them things. Roman has fought big names, but not big wrestlers from other companies. He's only got 1 title, where Omega had 4, but like you said, 2 of them being from one company.
Right.
Now, is Kenny Omega the best wrestler in the world? That's by far a hard one. But his work ethic is saying that right now for being number 1 power rank. But, anybody could be easily number 1.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Uh, I'm surprised. Well, I know Christian might be up in the top 50. I was gonna say, well, maybe Christian should be in the top 10, but no, I agree with a top 10. Uh, Nothing against Roman. It's just that Kenny, Kenny to me is more well rounded. You know, uh, We'll never know. We'll never know between Kenny, because Kenny and Roman's not gonna fight each other. Vince not gonna allow that to happen. Because if Vince allowed to happen, he gonna want Roman to win.
Yeah, it's like, Kenny's not molded around other people's saying. It's like Kenny molded himself around his own stuff. So with Roman Reigns has to mold himself of what the fans think and what his co-workers think. Like, it's every 2 years, Roman Reigns is changing his attributes on how he acts. Is he going to be the bad guy today and the superhero good guy tomorrow? Villain
Hmm.
today, superhero tomorrow. It's like, yeah, people gave Kenny Omega for a lot of heat of trying to look like Triple H with dressed up like him with the suits and the whole beard cut situation. It's like it's not like that. He's not trying to mold himself around another guy or superstar. He molded himself around himself because he's Kenny Omega. He's been around the world. He was in New Japan fighting guys over there. And then, fighting Chris Jericho and guys like that that's been in this game for like 40, 30 plus years. He's been
Right.
making a name for himself outside of any big company. Where Roman Reigns has been in one place, making his name in one place.
This one.
Where Omega has been making his name in hundreds of places around the world.
Yeah, that's true. That is so true. I mean, and then with Brock coming back, that is interesting. That the dynamic is interesting. Um, and we know it's gonna happen. Roman against Brock. They just don't know when they gonna. It's just when they gonna pull the trigger on it. You know, will Brock come after Roman after Finn Balor? After the match. Will he attack him before then?
Mm. It's
So
like, with the WWE, they plan a WrestleMania main event a year in advance, but that stuff can change. You know, like they've been they promoted with flyers where WrestleMania is going to be in Hollywood next year, and Roman versus The Rock for who is truly at the head of the table. And will we see that match? Is it going to be true? But we'll never know. It's like one of them things that it can end up being switched at last minute. But we all know Roman is getting Brock after Finn Balor.
right.
But we don't know if it's going to be Survivor Series or the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I want to say Survivor Series, but that's October. That's a couple of months build. Maybe it might be good enough. Maybe not. I don't know. But
Or give him a crown jewel over in
oh yeah, that's right. I keep forgetting about that. I try to forget about that they got to go to Crown Jewel. I'm like, they still dealing with Saudi Arabia, which I'm like, they should never have done. That's just a big cash money grab by Vince. Because you know, let's face it. I mean, who all worried about wrestlers from Saudi Arabia? I mean, I understand, Saudi Arabia they like wrestling, but their views on the world is not the same to where people protest against. So, and like I said, they did kill that man. They did kill that guy. So, you know, they did kill that guy that taught that over the critical of Saudi Arabia. They killed him. I mean, of course, it can't be proven. They did it, and of course, they're not going to admit that. So, So there you go. So with that being said, um, um, so with that being said, I mean, it's kind of weird that the last couple of weeks when it came to wrestling, I mean, it was, the roof was blowing off. CM Punk, All Out, Royal Rumble. I mean, I think TNA I think Impact Wrestling had a show somewhere in between. It just,
Oh, and plus, NWA had the 2-night event women's pay
oh
per
yeah,
view
that's
here
right.
in St. Louis.
They had the
Like,
Empower event, yes,
like
and
it was all good for wrestling this last few months. Like, it's been picking up. You
yeah,
know, Daniel Bryan's getting in the ring Wednesday night and confronting, Kenny Omega. Kenny Omega's like, "Give me the floor, get out of the ring, hurry up, hurry up." And it's like the American Dragon's like, "I'm better than you." It's like, you're not better than me, but I'm better than you. But that will be proven in the ring when
mhm,
time comes.
right, that's true. And oh yeah, about NWA 73, Nick Aldis, he lost to Trevor Murdoch. I didn't think I would see the day when Nick Aldis would lose the title, lose the NWA title.
To Trevor Murdoch, to all people.
Right. I
A
mean,
thousand something days as NWA World Heavyweight Champion to lose to Trevor Murdoch.
yeah, I
That's a
would.
name you ain't heard in years.
Yeah, definitely. Uh, I mean, I would have did it to where, let's say, if I was in AEW, I probably would have worked with NWA. Work with NWA. Who knows? Not saying that have Kenny Omega uh, beat Aldis for the NWA World Title, but have someone else beat Omega, beat Aldis for the World Title. I mean, I'm
Well,
not gonna
Cody
say.
Rhodes did.
Yeah, Cody Rose did it, but that was for the all was it All In? Yeah, that was for the All In show. I mean, that was before AEW came out. That basically that was the test run for AEW. For AEW. But I'm talking about have a current AEW wrestler go to NWA and win the world title. I mean, I would say Moxley, but he's busy doing so. I would say Moxley, but no, not him. Uh, Probably someone else. Not Christian. I thought that would have been nice. Uh, Not Jericho. I thought that would have been that would have been okay, but a little bit weird at the same time.
Yeah.
With the been dealing with the Pinnacle. Same thing with MJF. So, whew, damn. So who would have who is big in AEW that could have went to beat that can go and beat Trevor Murdoch right now for the NWA World Title? Hmm.
CM Punk. CM Punk would have been another good one.
Yeah, but that would have been too soon. Daniel Bryan could have did it. That's another two. That's another one that's too soon. Uh, eh, but hey, look, Trevor Murdoch won. I mean, it's just. I think it's 1,444 days. And Nick Aldis had a title. Uh, but you already know Aldis gonna get that title back. It's just a
Hmm.
matter of time. I mean, and then maybe Aldis knock down that forbidden door and come to AEW. Maybe bring Marty Squirrel with him too. That's it,
Yeah.
Squirrel. Squirrel.
Yeah. And here's another thing before we get and close out. You won't see Ric Flair in another WWE ring. He asked for his release. He got it. Now he's doing these commercials for Card Shield. He's off doing his own thing, and he was even here in St. Louis at the NWA women's event because that's where it all started with Ric Flair. Like, you know, I've been told stories by my mom and dad, and my aunts and uncles going to watch Ric Flair down this down here in St. Louis at South
Mm-hmm.
Broadway Athletic Club, and at the Chase Center, and that watching Ric Flair win NWA championships and all that. It's like it's a big deal. Ric Flair going back to his roots and hoping open doors for other guys or female superstars to come in and work. That's gonna be great.
Yeah, yeah, that's definitely gonna be great. So, and then he, he could have been better. He could have talked about Vince, he thanked Vince. He thanked Shawn Michaels. He thanked Triple H. Because he remembered that when he wasn't feeling like Ric Flair, it was them who picked him up. Brought the confidence back. Same
Yeah.
thing with the Undertaker. When they had their match at WrestleMania, Rick told him that thanks for getting my confidence back up. Same thing with Triple H though. So they the things they done was good for him to where they not gonna he not gonna talk bad about him. But no, he not going back. I mean, like with the incident, the situation that happened to El Idolo and Chavo Guerrero, that just makes it kicking him out. That just makes it that makes it more possible for Flair to be his new ring manager. And then basically, in a way, you kind of have all the horsemen back in AEW.
Oh, yeah. David Benoit and Brian Pillman Jr. are a tag team now in the indie scene. They're tagging together. And with Brian Pillman Jr. being on AEW TV Wednesday night confronting the biggest joke ever, MJF.
MJF, yeah.
That man, that brought goosebumps. When I seen him up on the stage, I'm like, I remember Brian Pillman doing that with Stone Cold as a kid. Like, that just brought back them memories. I'm like, when you hear Brian Pillman as the name is said, it just gives you goosebumps up your spine.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I definitely wish him the best of luck, in his career. His dad his dad was great on the mic. He had good mind. He had a good mind, and it just another lost, another tortured, lost soul of wrestling.
And Brian Pillman Jr. He took in his dad's roots in his shoes because he's good on the mic too. So
Yeah.
he learned a lot.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Well, let's see. I'm pretty sure the game's over with. Yep.
Yes, the game is over. I think it was like 30 something to 14 in
34-14.
LA. And
So we got one more game tomorrow night, and then week one will be over.
And then week 2 starts up Thursday night.
And we've been here for almost 2 hours. It's almost 10:30. So I think this is a good time to call it a night. We would like to thank everybody for participating. BG, myself,
Shady was here earlier.
Shady was here earlier, and for those who came on live, we thank you for watching. For those who might want to catch the rebroadcast of the show, all you gotta do is once the show's over with, just give it a few minutes to load up, and then it will be broadcast. You can watch it at any time and any of the broadcasting sites that we are that are doing that we're doing tonight. Once again, Jen, hope we hoping great news, more improving news for you tomorrow. Uh, we know you're gonna make it through. As you see on the bottom of the screen, it says "Fight Jen Fight." We love you, Jen. We want you back. And yeah, true enough, things may be when you come back. I know you probably gonna have to make some type of different changes to your life. But hey, it's all done to where you can be here, you can be sitting among us, and we can be sitting here discussing sports, wrestling, life, whatever you want to talk about. So Jen, we're here for you, we're praying for you, we want you to make it, and we'll always be here for you. And on that note, wish y'all a good night. It's Ralph Sweat. This is Ralph Savage, along with BG Savage,
Savage.
and this is the Jen Powell Skull Report. Good night, everybody.
Thank you for joining us at the Skull Report every Saturday at 9 p.m. Eastern. Be there or be square. Peace. We're out.